Prime Field.
8 assists, 0 turnovers, 23 minutes. On November 30th against Xavier, Sarah Strong did something that rarely appears in a box score at this level. She controlled an entire game without needing to dominate it as a scorer. Her 8-0 assist-to-turnover line in limited minutes stood out as a clean, efficient blueprint of what her role can become. 4 days later, another number told a very different story on a different court. Depal committed 27 team fouls in an 85-54 loss to Marquette. 3 players fouled out. The Blue Demons front court, led by starter Michelle Ojo, could not stay on the floor. This is the collision course. Welcome to Prime Field. This episode examines the point-forward paradox at the heart of UConn's matchup with DePaul. Why Sarah Strong's passing, not her scoring, profiles as the factor most likely to dismantle DePaul's already fragile defensive structure, and what that reveals about modern front-court play. The central question is clear. In a game headlined as Player to Watch Sarah Strong, UConn versus Michelle Ojo, DePaul, how does a forward who averages 14 points per game become more dangerous when she does not look to score first? The answer begins with numbers that describe how rarely she gives the ball away. Across her first 8 games, Sarah Strong has recorded 42 assists against just 9 turnovers. That produces an assist-to-turnover ratio of 4.67, the top mark in Division I. The figure is not cosmetic. It reflects a forward who understands where the ball should go and when it should arrive. The Xavier game on November 30th serves as the clearest case study. In UConn's 104-39 win, Strong finished with 8 assists and no turnovers in only 23 minutes. The majority of those assists were not simple kickouts from standstill post positions. They were interior feeds and high-low reads, delivered from the high post into space, where cutters could finish before help rotated. Each pass represented a decision not to force an entry. The 0 turnovers indicate that she declined risky windows and waited for clean cuts. Her high post touches repeatedly bent Xavier's defense, not by dribbling through traffic, but by forcing defenders to choose between staying home and overhelping. Strong's 14 points per game are part of her profile, but the data around her passing, especially the pristine 8.0 assist-to-turnover ratio in that Xavier performance, shows the foundation of a different role, a point-forward position to punish defensive mistakes rather than seek her own shot. The value of that role becomes sharper when contrasted with DePaul's recent defensive record. DePaul entered its December 4th matchup with Marquette already carrying defensive questions. The game turned those questions into hard evidence. The Blue Demons committed 27 team fouls in the 85-54 loss. 3 players fouled out. Starting post Michelle Ojo recorded 5 personal fouls in just 13 minutes. Her frontcourt partner Meg Newman also fouled out, accumulating 5 fouls in only 10 minutes. With both primary interior defenders disqualified early, DePaul's rotations unraveled. Bench bigs were forced into extended minutes and mismatches against higher usage opponents. Marquette's interior presence exploited that breakdown. The Golden Eagles attempted 30 free throws and made 22 of them, generating more than 1/3 of their total scoring at the line. They held a plus 15 rebounding advantage, reinforcing the picture of a front court that struggled to defend without fouling and to finish possessions on the glass. This was not an isolated problem of effort. It was structural. DePaul's bigs over-rotated on help, reached for strips on drives, and arrived late on vertical contests. The result was a pattern. Aggressive but undisciplined. Coverage that consistently put opponents on the free throw line and left the bench to absorb minutes intended for starters. In this context, the individual matchup, Sarah Strong against Michelle Ojo, becomes less about scoring numbers and more about decision-making in space. The next layer of the story involves how UConn chooses to position Strong on the floor. UConn's film offers a clear template for how Sarah Strong can be deployed. When she operates from the high post, around 15 to 18 feet from the basket, her passing angles expand. Defenders must decide whether to crowd on her handle or protect the rim. The scouting logic against DePaul is straightforward. Ojo and Newman have already shown a pattern of fouling when pulled into uncomfortable rotations. When a skilled passer like Strong catches at the high post, a front court defender faces a difficult choice. Step up aggressively and risk a reaching foul. Sag back toward the paint and concede open lanes for cutters behind the play. The Marquette game provides the strategy blueprint. Marquette's interior players repeatedly drew contact, earning 30 free throw attempts and exploiting DePaul's late help. UConn can reproduce this pattern without relying on post isolations. By using Strong as a hub, Geno Auriemma can emphasize high post touches that are designed not primarily for her jump shot, but for her reads. From that spot on the floor, Strong can hit backdoor cuts, baseline dives, and short roll dump-offs. If Oho or her replacement reaches for the ball, Strong's established ability to protect her dribble and keep turnovers down makes the gamble unlikely to succeed. Instead, it risks adding to Depal's foul count and accelerating the removal of its starting front court. This is the essence of the high post trap, a structure in which Strong's decisions dictate whether Depal's bigs stay on the floor. Her playmaking does not operate in isolation. It is amplified by another component of her game that punishes careless offense on the other end. Against Xavier, Strong's impact extended to the defensive side of the ball. In the same 23 minutes that produced 8 assists and 0 turnovers, she also recorded 6 steals. The combination is significant. It suggests an ability not only to distribute the ball, but also to anticipate where it is going next. These steals did not come from constant gambling. They emerge from positioning in passing lanes and reading the timing of entry passes. When an opponent's wings look inside, Strong has shown a capacity to recognize the target early, slide into the path of the ball, and convert the interception into immediate transition opportunities for UConn. Depal's recent turnover profile makes that skill highly relevant. The Blue Demons carry a turnover margin listed at approximately 9.0, with a stat line indicating around 14.3 turnovers per game on one side of the ledger, and roughly 23.3 on the other. The precise split is less important than the direction of the number. Depal is giving the ball away more often than it takes it. Film and statistics converge on the same conclusion. Careless entry passes, late decisions into traffic, and loose ball security are recurring issues. Against a defender who has already demonstrated a 6-steal performance in limited minutes, those habits become vulnerabilities that can flip possessions in clusters. Every steal taken by Strong is another chance to initiate offense as a passer in space. That loop, deflection, transition, high post touch, foul drawing action connects her defensive reading directly to Depal's foul trouble and turnover issues. Yet her impact is not limited to games like Xavier. In UConn's meeting with USF, Strong added 14 points and 10 rebounds, reaffirming that she can still produce traditional box score numbers while anchoring possessions. The question remains how she chooses to leverage that skill set against a team that struggles most when forced to defend without its starting front court. The answer leads to the central tension of this matchup. The point-forward paradox emerges most clearly in one scenario. If Sarah Strong settles for jump shots from the high post, she can still score. Her touch and range make her a capable face-up threat, but every jumper she takes has a cost. It removes her from the live passing network and allows Depal's defense to reset into a more comfortable half-court shape. Depal's foul issues against Marquette were magnified when defenders were forced into continuous rotations, late closeouts, and emergency help at the rim. When the ball stayed in one place and shots came early in the clock, their defense found brief moments of stability. Strong's greatest value in this matchup is not reflected in a target scoring total. It lies in creating sequences where Depal has to defend multiple actions, where Oho and Newman are dragged repeatedly into decisions as the ball and cutters move through Strong's hands. Each extra pass extends the defensive possession. Each extended possession presents another opportunity for an undisciplined contest or a late reach that draws a whistle. Her season-long 4.67 assist-to-turnover ratio shows she can sustain that style without giving possessions away. Her 6-steal example against Xavier shows she can generate additional opportunities to run it. The hidden danger is simple. If Strong shifts from creator to primary scorer, if she prioritizes quick jumpers over layered passing reads, she inadvertently helps Depal. A foul-prone defense in need of structure gains exactly that structure when possessions shorten and rotations simplify. The resolution of this paradox will define not just the box score, but the shape of UConn's offensive identity against Depal. This matchup was framed as player to watch, Sarah Strong, UConn versus Michelle Loho, Depal. On the surface, that suggests a traditional duel between a skilled offensive forward and a physical interior defender. The data, however, points to a different legacy for this game. Strong's profile, 8 assists and 0 turnovers against Xavier, a Division I leading 4.67 assist-to-turnover ratio, 6 steals in 23 minutes, and a 14.10 rebound line against USF, illustrates a player whose influence is distributed across every phase of possession. Her presence at the high post threatens defenses not because of a single move, but because of the combined weight of secure passing, rebounding, and anticipation. Depal's recent record, 27 team fouls against Marquette, Oho, and Newman, both fouling out in under 15 minutes, 30 free throw attempts allowed, and a negative turnover margin, captures a team that struggles to sustain disciplined coverage over time. Placed together, these trends redefine what it means to be the central figure in a game. The blue demon killer in this context is not a scorer who chases 20 points. It is a point forward whose passing choices determine whether Depal's front court stays on the court at all. The legacy of this contest, and of Strong's role within it, is not strictly about how many shots she makes, is about how a modern forward can dismantle an opponent through restraint, control, and timing. If the numbers from November and early December hold, UConn's path against DePaul runs through the ball in Sarah Strong's hands at the high post, through the passes she chooses to throw, and through the fouls those passes are likely to draw. In that sense, her impact extends beyond a single Sunday. It offers a case study in how elite passing from the front court can reshape game plans, redefine matchups, and quietly decide outcomes long before the final score is known.
Prime Field.